All right, the story, VeeJay, that has been dominating the NFL, really. Now, obviously, there's the Jonathan Taylor potential trade. We'll see if that ends up happening by Tuesday. That's what they're saying is the deadline right now.
Come on, Miami.
But Trey Lance and the quarterback situation in general in San Francisco, obviously the Niners a few years ago gave up everything to move up in the draft and get Trey Lance with the third pick, 3 number 1 picks and more to get him. And they end up starting a guy named Brock Purdy this season, who was Mr. Irrelevant a year ago, drafted in the 7th round, the last player in the draft, but he did his thing last year during the regular season and even the playoffs before he got hurt. Then they bring in Sam Darnold, who also, like Trey Lance, was a number 3 pick a few years ago, 2018. And he beats out Trey Lance in practice for that backup role. And now Trey Lance is in limbo. John Lynch saying, the GM for the Niners, saying they most likely he'll be on the roster as their third quarterback. Others reports are saying that they're trying to trade him, and if they can get a decent deal, they're not even looking for a great deal, get a decent deal for him, that they will move him. So I'm just want to know, VeeJay, overall, let's start with the big picture. What is your assessment of the entire quarterback situation, how this has been handled, how it's played out to this point in San Francisco?
I don't think they gave him enough time. You know, him being beat out by Sam Darnold, honestly, is a joke to me. That's a joke to me. And Sam Darnold's a guy that we've seen can't play quarterback in this league. I'm not sure what everybody's still holding on to his SC days or what was going on back then. But sorry, I live out here in LA. I saw him with my own eyes. I always thought he was okay. Never thought he was great. But, you know, he beats him out. The guy's played 10 games. 10 games. Now, you're telling me that you
really
mortgage
started 4.
Started 4, but exactly, yes, 4. But just his career, he's been in 10 games. Only 4 starts. So you're telling me now we are letting go of quarterbacks after 4 starts. Now, I'm not going to defend him and act like he's been great. The kid needs time. He needs time on the field. Football is one of those things. You need time on the field playing. You knew this, John Lynch. You knew this, Kyle Shanahan. When you drafted him, he hadn't played a lot. Also, too, with Shanahan, why he getting such a pass on this? You're supposed to be the quarterback whisperer, but you know how they disguise. You know how they disguise and cover that up. They go, well, it's a quarterback-friendly offense, and for some reason, Trey Lance can't get it. He hasn't played long enough. Like Purdy had a college career. You know what I'm saying? Like Darnold's been in the NFL for 5-6 years already. He had a college career. Trey Lance hasn't played enough. And you're already talking about trading him after all the number 1s and all the stuff you gave up for him? I think Purdy comes back to earth, man. One thing about the NFL, Chris, I do know is when you enter in the middle or towards the end of the season, defensive coordinators on the schedule, Chris, they're scrambling. They're scrambling for film. They're trying to get some sense of what you do because no one's really seen it. If they weren't really studying Iowa State tape where Purdy came from, now that they've had all off season long. Okay, Brock, you're up, buddy. And VeeJay's watching. You're up. Let's see what you got now that they got tape on you. You're going to play a first-place schedule, okay? And the NFC is not as weak as people try to make it out to be. Just the AFC is that much more stronger. That's where I stand with it. I get it that you got to name Purdy the starter, but to make this guy number 3 and now talk about we're going to explore trades? Really? 4 starts? All right, okay. Let's just keep the same energy when we're talking about Baker Mayfield is still a starter in the NFL. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. That's where I stand with it, see?
It's undeniable that he hasn't played enough. Not only in the NFL, like you said, 4 starts. In college, he's thrown 420 passes since high school. I've almost thrown that many. I mean,
especially on Radio Row.
6 years, VeeJay. Right.
I know.
That's 6 years. He's thrown 420 balls.
Bro.
So that's undeniable. And I mean, anybody would admit that. Here's the problem, though. He's gotten hurt. That's not his fault. And it's not the Niners' fault either. One thing I think has to be clear is that he hasn't impressed them in practice. And I get it. There are some guys out there that are gamers, right? They don't really look great in practice, but turn the lights on and they do their thing. He might or might not be that. I mean, obviously in the 4 games he played, the last one was a monsoon, against Chicago. Yeah. It's hard to blame him for that. But he hasn't looked good in those 4 games. And Brock Purdy came in and look, whether he comes back to earth or not this year, I don't think he will. I think he'll be fine. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but I think he'll play well. But regardless of that, he was great last year. And he showed poise. First start is against Tom Brady. I get it, they're not going against each other one-on-one, but that can be intimidating. And he goes out there and plays well, gets the win. First playoff start. And that's where, as you said, defensive coordinators, they're going to study the tape. They're going to get to know what he can and can't do. Well, they're doing that for the playoffs too. Pete Carroll, very good coach, and put 3 touchdowns and 332 yards on them. The dude, I think he's pretty good. But so I don't mind him being the starter. And Darnold, I look, obviously Darnold has not been good. He's been the butt of many of my jokes. All right.
Oh, okay.
But
all right, so
I will say he hasn't been in good situations. And I'm not just talking about him. I think you agree with this. Sometimes a quarterback just in a bad situation.
Yeah.
There are some, the great ones can make the most out of any situation, a la Joe Burrow, etc. But there are others that can't. Most can't. And Darnold, I'm not trying to give him a pass because he wasn't good with the Jets. He wasn't good with Carolina, got beat out by Baker Mayfield. I think we're going to see with Jordan Love, and I'm not predicting stardom for Jordan Love, but I do think he has a good year this year.
Yeah.
And you know why? I wouldn't have said that 3 years ago. I wouldn't have said that 2 years ago. But learning for a few years at the feet of Aaron Rodgers and just more importantly, getting to know the NFL, being brought along slowly, that's important.
Yep.
Everybody's not coming into the league. I mean, heck, Patrick Mahomes didn't start his first year, and he was only behind Alex Smith.
Everybody's not Peyton.
So, right. And even Peyton obviously struggled his first year, but still, I get what you're saying.
He's the starter day
right.
one. Him, Marino, Elway, day one.
Right. And some of this, VeeJay, I get it. It's the salary structure. They want to get these guys in, see if they're their franchise quarterback before they pay them, before the deal ends. I get all that. But they're throwing guys in too early. And Trey, here's where I do agree with you. I mean, I think we agree about a good amount of this, but I don't think it's over for Trey.
No, not at all.
I think and I don't know that it's even over in San Francisco because obviously their quarterbacks and other players get hurt a lot. So there's no guarantee they won't get hurt. Or, to your point, I don't think this will happen. But what if Brock Purdy comes back to earth, turns back into a pumpkin? What? And then Darnold goes in there and it's Sam Darnold,
and
right?
You have to go to Sam Darnold. Have fun.
And he plays like Sam Darnold has played his whole career. Then you're looking at Trey gets another shot. Or if he gets traded, I think he'll get another shot. So it's not over for the young man, largely because, as you said, we haven't seen enough. Nobody's really seen enough to say he can't play. But I think he just needs time. I'm not saying he's going to be great, but I think he'll get another chance. And I don't think they screwed him.
I need him traded.
They don't owe anybody anything.
You're right.
They owe you the money that is on your contract, but they don't give you a position. You have to earn it, even if you're a high draft pick. And so Purdy's beat him out. Apparently Darnold beat him out. It's football, bro. You played football.
Yeah,
I played football, not at this level, but still, you got to earn your spot.
Nah, listen, I'm not mad that they made Purdy the starter. I get why they made Purdy the starter. But I do think what you're doing to this kid, like, for instance, John Lynch has come out. We anticipate he'll be on the 53-man. All right, bro, listen, if you don't want me here and you spent all this, because now what they're trying to do is they're sneakily trying to save face because you gave up 3 first-round picks to move up to that position to draft him. So if you're telling me Darnold has beat him out, come on, man. Just go ahead and trade him then. Get him somewhere else where somebody else can use him, or get him on the field.
How much do people? I mean, it's not. I don't think people are breaking down their door.
They don't have to be breaking down their door.
I want a little something for him. And like I said earlier, he could look. They needed a quarterback in the playoffs.
I got a team for you.
They got 2 of them. I'm just saying, like, if I'm them, I'm not in a hurry to get rid of him. I don't even know if I'd be. Yeah, obviously, you always listen to calls, but I don't know that I'd be making calls because I'm like, again, we don't know that Purdy's proven. We certainly don't know that Darnold's proven, and they both could get hurt. So I might actually need Trey at some point, even this year.
That's fine, but that's not what I saw on NFL Network earlier today, that they said they will start to now possibly look into trading him. Okay, so once you start talking that way, just go ahead and trade me then. Obviously, I'm your third quarterback. Why are you trying to – who in the NFL is trying to hold on to their third quarterback? That's probably the last guy
you're
talking.
Who in the NFL has had the injury issues that they've had?
It's like you said it too. I'm glad you said it the way you said it, not just as the quarterback. That's why I think San Francisco takes a little fall this year. They don't have consistent years of their main guys being healthy. And Debo just dropped off 12 pounds. And I was watching a preseason game on my DVR the other night. Heard the commentators talk about it because he felt like he was too bulky. He was hurt. He was hurt last year. He looks good, but we'll see if he still has that power. But I'll give you a team. I'll give you a team that could use him. A coordinator that can use, that's going to be the next head coach at this franchise. New ownership. Magic out there dancing to the go-go. I'm hoping, Magic, that you got mambo sauce on the side and not on your fries and wings. Don't listen to them out there. Get the mambo sauce on the side, Magic. I love what Washington is doing and what they have. And I liked how at North Carolina. But if I'm thinking for the future, because I think Rivera's out after this year, I think the coach in waiting there is Eric Bieniemy. He's going to be the next head coach for the Washington team. But if I'm Eric, could you imagine Trey Lance getting some film study and some darkroom conversations and watching film and getting some work under his belt and getting his feet under him under a guy like Eric Bieniemy at a franchise that's got the weapons that love black quarterbacks and have had him there before, and that city will support the heck out of him. And I think that new ownership will too in that front office. The Washington, if you're going to trade, that's a team I look at it. I go, send him there and let him get with Bieniemy for a few years, and let's talk about this in 2 years.
It's not a bad plan. Everything you said makes sense.
Young weapons galore too.
Except, I don't know if he can play. He ain't no guarantee. I mean, here's the thing, VeeJay. We can mock Brock Purdy and I'm not saying you are, but Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold all we want. Guess what? They were better than Trey Lance.
You're right.
In high school,
right now,
and I get it. That's high school. They were better than Trey Lance in college. At least Brock Purdy played in the Big 12.
Yep.
I mean, Trey Lance didn't even play Division I, one AA. I'm just saying, so I don't know. He might be great. He might be great 4 years from now. You know, we might be singing a whole different tune. I'm just saying, I don't know if he's better than Sam Howell. I want to see Howell in this offense. I think Bieniemy obviously is helping them a lot. It's only preseason, but let's see what Howell does. But I think it's a good idea. It certainly doesn't hurt to give him a look.
That's
a great situation for him. If he can play, that will be a good situation for him. We're just not completely sure.